This conference will now be recorded.
What's going on? I hope everyone is doing well. Coming to you with a Thursday Discord update. I'm going to start off with Bitcoin. Actually, I want to show you guys something first. So now they have these privacy cameras that are powered by the blockchain. UCam is absolutely private home camera that works for you. So no one can use your privacy camera information, just like the Ring doorbell. They can't access your footage. Secure blockchain identity. Keep the bad guys out with secure blockchain based identity and login. Access to UCAM device and information is secured by uncrackable 256 private key, which is owned by you. Your videos are encrypted and unwatchable without your UC identity. All videos from UCAM are owned by you and only you, not the Internet of Things, not corporations, not anyone. Just wanted to start off with that. Also, you should check out Metaverse Pro. I believe I dropped it in the chat. If not, I'll drop it right after this. And two, if you're not familiar, Star Atlas, we'll go over that token as well. It's basically a AAA game on the Solana blockchain. And now Animico Brands has purchased 3 million worth of NFT ships. And if you know about the brand in gaming, crypto gaming right now, they're big. And the ships did cost a lot. So this is some news that you can look up too. And also Kava is about to begin integrating over to Ethereum, Atoms, and I believe 2 other blockchains they're converting over to. So let's get into the token request. Actually get into the market update first, starting off with Bitcoin. You can see that Bitcoin has taken a fall. And right now we need to get back above $47,842. Currently we're at $47,185. If we don't get a day close above the 200-day moving average, I would see prices moving back down lower, but I do identify bullish divergence, higher high on price and a lower low on the RSI. So I wouldn't be surprised if we did. This is starting off on a new day here. So this is for, we're only 1 hour and 42 minutes into the new day, which is December 31st. So if we don't close by, basically for Atlas, I mentioned that Amico Brands bought $3 million worth of their tokens to purchase the NFT ship that's a part of their gameplay. And that would be a token to look at. We'll go over that token too. Right now it's 10 cents. And this one is Solana blockchain. So I believe that would be a big game, just my opinion. And also about Kava, they also have a lending protocol where you can borrow assets and provide liquidity in place. And I believe that will become big now since it's moving over to the different chains, Ethereum, Solana, Atmos, and I believe 1 or 2 other more chains from there. And again, let me mention this is not financial advice. Everything I say is for educational and entertainment purposes only. You should please do your own research and use your own subjective approach and form your own opinion. No problem. So back to Bitcoin. Again, if we can't close, let me also just show the bullish divergence. Actually, it's bearish divergence. When you get a higher high on price and a lower low on the indicator. Bearish divergence. Higher high price lower low on the indicator. So we can also see it moving. Let me just check out the 4 hour as well. That price is running away from the 20-day moving average. So the next target that I can see for Bitcoin would be I would say about 44,000. And let me just change the color. Yeah, so 44,000 next level of support, because and from there, if it can't hold that point, I can see price coming down to about $43,327. But we can pull the fib out to get a better look on this here from the swing high from swing low. What could we expect? So just looking here on the daily, we can see that price did not make it above the 382, which is now corresponding with the 50-day moving average as resistance, but our new resistance now will be the 20-day moving average, which is corresponding with the 236 of the Fibonacci. So now, as I mentioned, we would need to get above the 200-day moving average, which is $47,842. And also the 236 is $48,638. So unless we get above both of those ranges, really basing it off the 200-day moving average, then breaking above the 236, we will not see a price movement up with Bitcoin. And as I mentioned, we do have bearish divergence. So what we could see is we already see the downtrend that price, when it wicked up, was rejected off of the 200-day moving average, and then we had another push up high, which would just push back down lower. And I mentioned that we can expect prices to go back to that $44,702 from there. And if we can't hold that, back down to the $42,310. So most of the market is moving like Bitcoin right now. And I would say until we see some price movement up in Bitcoin, the rest of the market usually does follow its footsteps from it being the grandfather asset. So using the fib, let me go back and see your question again. Can you explain how to? Oh, so with the fib, you're always starting off with the highest peak. So you swinging high to swinging low between the price range that you want to check. And I always go by the waves. So I'm not sure if you heard of the Elliott wave theory, but price usually moves up and down in 5 waves. So this downtrend here, we can consider this one wave because we had a higher high, and this was the highest point past from here. And now we had a downtrend since, and we did have a wick all the way down. So that's how I would base using the swing high to swing low. So the highest price within that period, within that wave, to the lowest price within that wave. and then you will pull the Fibonacci to retrace that period. So another example, we could have went in the past and looked at the wave from right here from July the 20th up until September 7th. Could have pulled the Fibonacci from here. I could even show you. So from here to here. And then we could have based off. So actually, let me move this over just to show how we could have used this to potentially track where the next movement would go. Let me just pull it up. So from here, if we go back and look, you can see how price is almost corresponding to the price we're at right now. Going to, I believe we'll be going back to this area right here. And that's between 42 and 41. If we can't hold this 618. So basically, price ran all the way up to the 100% zone on the Fibonacci here, September 7th. And then it had a retracement back down to the 618, which is a normal retracement level between the 618 and the 382. So the first retracement level you look for is the 618. Then if it can't hold that level, it will go down to the 50% level. If it can't hold that level, which is the normal level of retracement, 50%, it would go down to the 382. And as we can see here from previous price history, that it did break the 618, then found support. It tried to find support at the 618, but that didn't hold, and it broke back up to the 786, broke back down, found support at the 50% on a retracement, and from there, it's just like a springboard. You load up with energy, and then it bounced back up to a new all-time highs from there. And this period here would have been considered one wave, and this would have been, I could actually just pull up the picture too. I don't actually use the Elliott wave theory anymore, but it's good to just look at and reference. So you can see here how price moves in waves. If I can pull up a big picture, just want to pull up a basic picture of it all right here, so we can view this. So that first, the biggest move in the wave theory is always between the second. It's the second wave and the peak of the third. So we can see that price move from 1 to 2. The 2 is the biggest. Then we always have that pullback. This is the period that we're in right now. So what I just showed on the Fibonacci would be the peak of wave 5 and where we are right now on C wave. If we can go back and see here, it's similar. If you just pull back and forth, we had this first movement up. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, the new high there. So I could pull it up and show it on here too. Just the Elliott wave. You click on here, your patterns on TradingView, and then you can see the Elliott wave correction. And then we just click 1. That's A, B, C, and then this would be the extended from there. But really, I use the numbers. I haven't used it in a while, but it would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. As we're seeing here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that's basically how things play out most of the time. A lot of patterns that just need to be uncovered. But let's get back to the analysis of what can happen. You already know, bro. So from here, we can see that since we did identify again the bearish divergence with the higher high on price and lower low on the indicator, we can see that price is expected to go low. Also, using the RSI, the two levels that I use are 45 for the exit. You're trading the asset, and as you can see, we are below 45 on the RSI with Bitcoin. And also, I use 55 on the RSI for when to get back in the asset. So until the price goes above 55 on the RSI, I wouldn't get in. And so as we can see here that on November 14th, price was beginning to come and go below the 55 on the RSI. Really, you could just make your trades based off the RSI. It's based on the 45 get out and 55 get in. So for instance, let's go back here and look. Starting off from July 23rd. If you, it's actually the 24th when it crossed over the 55 on the RSI. If you would have just got in the asset when it came July 24th and it was 55 on the RSI, you would have got out at September 7th. And you can see how it's corresponding with the run up from July 21st all the way to September 7th itself. And you can also identify the bearish trend on the RSI once you see that you have lower highs on the RSI, but you're making higher highs on price. That's bearish divergence, as well as we identified what we have currently here. And you could have just used that indicator. Okay, I use the three bounce rule. So if price bounces off resistance at the top 3 times, I know that price is going to fall lower. And if it bounces off resistance at the bottom at support 3 times, I just assume that price will push up higher. And that's how I look at it, kind of like a long jump type of thing for price pushing up high up the springboard or something like that. And also, just going back again, you can see if you would have got in September 30th, here, October, actually around October, yeah, September 30th, and you would have got out November 14th, right before the price would have dropped all the way down, and it's corresponding with the 76 after it pushed all the way up on the 100% spot on the Fibonacci from there. So that's what I expect to happen with Bitcoin. I know we probably spent a lot of time on Bitcoin, but it's important just to look at the foundation of how the market is moving off of. And also it's good to look at too the Bitcoin dominance chart. So the higher the dominance on the Bitcoin percentage chart, the more people are favoring the move upwards. The lower it is, the lower interest we have, and the potential we do have for altcoins to run. But I just base it off whatever chart we see. But it is sometimes good to reference the Bitcoin dominance chart. As you can see, it's been in a downtrend for a while now. Since October 19th, it's been in a downtrend. And if we go back and look at Bitcoin October 19th, we can see that Bitcoin lost its dominance near the peak of its run. So from here, you're going to identify from the Bitcoin dominance chart that, okay, Bitcoin has reached a peak in dominance, and we can foresee a sell-off coming, which happened after the next higher high that we had on price. And then from there, we just sold off. And right now, it's at about 30% sell-off. And as I mentioned, 50% is usually a normal retracement, which will go down to about the 40% retracement where we will meet that next price. So we can move on to Ethereum. So Ethereum, let me go look at this other one. Oh, I thought it had a chart with something drawn on Ethereum, but we can just go from the blank chart. So Ethereum right now trading at $3,726. And just from not even having the movers and averages up, I can identify a level of support here on Ethereum. And if we can't hold this level at $3,580, because I do see that we have higher high, lower low. So we do have bearish divergence too on Ethereum. And we are currently in a downtrend as well too. Also, to identify downtrends, you can put a trend line. Let me zoom in closer. You can form a trend line from the higher highs on price. And once the price breaks that trend, so this would be considered either an ascending or descending triangle. But right now, I would consider it a descending triangle. It is because price is going down. And you can measure the area, the width of the triangle to measure the move of the price action after it breaks the descending triangle. So I can pull up a trend line to measure. Always want to measure in about the center range of the triangle. And then from here, so for the trend line, you would add it to the highest price of the wick or the body as price is moving up or down. So from here, we can see that December 1st, the highest price was here. So we will start the trend from up here, from this price. Or really could have started, if you want to, it's all about just trying to identify as many trends and patterns as possible. We could have started from right here. And then it will still be considered, actually, let me put this bigger. It would have still been considered a descending triangle. As you can see, that price broke above the trend line, came back, touched it as support, and tried to push higher, but then it broke back down to below the trend line again, tried to find support and break above the trend again, and then kept breaking back down. And then it found support, tried to find support again, broke up a little bit, and then keep pushing down. So at this point, we can see that it broke up, and it probably will break back down just based off the RSI, the MACD, and the price action. As we can see again, we have a higher high on price and a lower low in the indicator, and this is basing it off the width of the triangle. We can predict the downtrend movement and price to about, it's corresponding to about the last low wick here from September 21st. See, and this how these things play out. Price action is just like a magnet. Is always attracted to the last high or low once it breaks a certain area of resistance or support. And we can see here it's corresponding with, it's damn near almost perfect. It's corresponding with $2,000, $671, breaking down from that $3,000 we actually could pull it down a little bit more because that's what the price, yeah, basically right there. So yeah, coming down from $3,580 to $2,671. I wouldn't be surprised unless we find support here, which is about $3,000, $171. Can't find support there. You can keep making as many support lines as possible. Just put one here, because it's a levels game. You can think about it like Donkey Kong, the old school game. You gotta do one level at a time, or it could just shoot through one big candle wick. It could wick down to that price, but it won't get a body close that low. It might wick down all the way to $2,671. Then it might have a body close at around the $3,377. But you can see how here the price is wicked down, but it closed above here. We can have that same situation, which we can go on in the next few weeks. That's why I always like to look at both situations. I take the wicks off to assess how price could also move from there. So I really just base all my divergence on the body of the candlestick, not the wick. Excuse me. So that's what I could see moving with Ethereum, but I always like to give two scenarios, the up and down scenario. If we did see an upward push and this happened to fake us out, which it probably won't because we can see the divergence here, but just given that situation of which you can use in the future for other assets, if it was in a bullish trend, we are still in the bull market, but still we can see how it's corresponding with the previous high we had in price. As I told you, price action is a magnet. So this price down here will first be attracted to this level, the $4,053. And then from there, if you can break this resistance, the highest point of this play would have been $4,463. Right there, damn near perfect going on that line right here. So that's how that plays out. And from there, we can move on to the coin request. Put it in the chat on the side. Hero and block. Matter of fact, I got block over here. Oh yeah, let's pull the fib on Ethereum real quick. We can start it off from right here. And we can see, actually, let's pull it from right here. We can see that price was rejected with Ethereum at the 382. And between the 618 and the 382, that's the golden ratio. I could draw it for you real quick. So you usually find price consolidating between these areas and also coming back to find it as resistance or support. As we can see now, price is trying to enter the golden ratio and was rejected. So now we have to start over because it always usually drops. I wouldn't say always, but usually it drops two buckets. So it would drop from the 382 to the 236 and then to 0. Going up, it would go up 236 and then firing resistance again at the 382. And once you can see that you find price within that golden ratio is moving sideways up and down between that price range, because that's the golden ratio, and that's where you find that accumulation. You can think about it as people waiting for the train at the platform. You get a whole bunch of people waiting, and then when that train finally comes, you all hop on and we take off to a new price level. Let's go back to the block. So on block, and this is why I don't buy projects when they first come out within the first 3 months, because you will always see that fear of missing out, that FUD, fear, uncertainty, and doubt, that FOMO. So people would just jump on in, and then after that, once the people that got in early made their profits, you can see how much this is just from they would have got in even from here, October 16th, just to November 1st. That was 600. Even if you go from always from the wick high, but I usually don't do the wick highs because most people can't catch that wick. But we can see that it made in 18 days 650%. So if you'd have made that in 18 days, we know you would have took profit. I hope you would have. And so that's what happened here. And when new projects come out like that, they always shoot up, move back down. People take profit. But we can reassess what can go on from here. It's based off the Fibonacci. So we can see on the MACD that we do have weak positive momentum. Actually, we do have a strong positive momentum coming in. And we do have a higher low on price. So I can expect price to just come all the way back down and test this low of 5 cent even. And then we would have to work our way and break above the 236. I'm not sure. Let me put the moving averages back on. No, hold up just a second. 2050 is right there. 2050, yeah. To the 20, 50, 100, and 200 day moving average. All right, we can see that a perfect example here. That price wicked up to the 50 day. It wicked up to exactly on the 50 day moving average and was met as resistance. And as we can see, it's almost corresponding with the 236. It's just about 1 or 2 cent off. I would say 1.5 cent off. Yep. And so from here, now the 20-day moving average would be the next resistance. So price would need to break above the 20-day moving average is right now at 0.063 cent. So until then, we won't see upward movement and block. What I can expect to happen, hopefully, so prices don't drop lower, but they could, as I mentioned, like everything is basically moving how Bitcoin is moving. So if price can't hold this point right here at 0.050. It can easily break down to the next level of support, which is here at 3 cents, in which by then I would see more support coming in, and if not, price can go back to 1 cent. So that's the story with block. And what was the other one? Hero. Meta Hero. Let me add that to my list actually. All right, for Hero, you can see the same situation happening, except on the 20-day moving average. You can zoom in and see that price is being rejected by the 20-day moving average. So what you would want to see in price, we can go back. Let's actually reference SAN for this. You want to see price cross over the 20-day moving average. You want to see it cross over all of your other moving average. You want to see it cross over the 50-day, the 100-day, and the 200-day, which will indicate that a price run is about to happen. So we can just move all the way back from the beginning of here where SAN made its first run, starting off in January 2021. We can see that the 20-day moving average crossed over on about January 16th, and it made a run all the way up to April about 5th or 6th, and then we can see that price drop below. That would have been a sign for me to get out. As soon as we see this peak reaching on the 20-day moving average and it's breaking down, you can use the moving average just to trade itself, just moving average and RSI or the MACD. They put all three together. You have a strong technical indications of where price can move. So that's what you can base Hero off right now. We can see that it never had a moving average to crossover. And as I mentioned too, that newer assets, I really wouldn't get into them until about 2 to 3 months after they do come out. And we can see now it's only been 2 months and prices coming down. I would say the test where this 20-day moving average formed previously, which is about 11 cents. So that's where I could see price moving to, but we do have weakening negative momentum on the MACD. But that's nothing. We can see the same thing happen here, that we did have that weakening negative momentum, but price continued to drop. And then we see we had that strong negative momentum weakening again, but price can just push back up to the 50-day and 20-day and be rejected again until we find closes above the 15 cent. Until we find closes above your 15 cent, I wouldn't expect the price move up in Hero. So let's just go on and look at the other major coins. As I mentioned, Kava, let's just go over that. Kava made that big partnership. Right now, price is trying to find its way above the 20-day moving average. Tried to find support, and it thought it had support, and then tried to push off, but didn't have enough support to break through the 50-day moving average. And this is on the daily. And as we see here, you can form a trend with the lows as well. So let me just remove all of this. And form a trend based on the lows. this is something you could do too as well. So for instance, the last trend could have formed it here. About right here, yep. But really, it's all about identifying the trends within that period. Now that I'm looking, you would have formed this trend here, starting over from July to October, but then you would have just based it on the RSI instead of trying to identify the trend here. As I mentioned before, when it usually drops below 45, that's when you get out. But if you want to maximize your profits, I would just usually get out as soon as it crosses below 55. So it would have crossed below 55 on about that same day. It made that big wick down and that big body close. But right here, from to start off here, we can identify of how low price should go. It can go on Kava. So if price was to break below this trend line that we have formed here, which is currently at about $3.02. So if it can't break above and hold but above 20-day moving average and it comes back down, and I told you I always use the 3 bounce play. So since it bounced off 1 time, 2 times, and this 3rd time, I would expect price to make a reversal. And as I told you, looking at, I think that was Mana, or either Mana or Sand, that we would get that crossover of the moving average crossing over the 50, crossing over the 100, and crossing over the 200, and getting a run just like we had here. See, price went down, came up, crossed over, made a run up, and that was for 167% in 40 days. And as we can see here, we had a crossover of the same thing, the 20-day moving average, crossing over all the 50, 100, and 200-day moving average. We had a move from January to April of 502%. And we always can expect to go back to the previous highs from where we came from. So this next run up from here crossing over, we can expect starting the new year off, going into January, potentially ending close to February, of a run up of 141% on Kava. And like I said again, it's levels. You just don't shoot straight up. The first level you would look to reach and break, you just be starting off small, breaking above the 50, breaking above the 100, then breaking above the 200. Then from there, you always break above this price here, $5.09, break above $6.07. And once you break above that price, you'll go back up and test your all-time high again, which is about $9. And this is where the Fibonacci extension comes in to play to identify the next price target that you should look to take profit. So the next price target after reaching the all-time high and breaking it, you can see you can just base things off the fib levels as well. Like, okay, you break above this support, this resistance, find support. You could break above this resistance, find support. And as you can see, I mentioned again, in that golden ratio, price was consolidating. Like, okay, do we want to break up? Do we want to break down? And then it broke down. So now it's coming back full circle to charge all the way up and make new all-time highs from there. And we can see that price has been moving sideways kind of all year for Kava. I would say moving between just right above the 618 and between the 382. That's just been the average. So I would definitely expect prices to move way higher. That they're making a lot of things happen for them. And just again, the next price target after breaking the all-time high would be $12.86. And also we could look at Atlas. I mentioned that too. Another gaming token. In my opinion, I believe gaming is going to be what takes off next year. Like this year was all about the NFTs, and next year is going to be all about the gaming projects, Web 3.0 games, in my opinion. So that's what I've been focusing on. We can see the Atlas just came out as well not too long ago, September 2nd. And right now, price is making higher lows. You can say you can form a trend as we did the same thing with Kava, forming a trend from here. And you can see just how they correspond to it. You can get them to correspond. You can see the first bounce. Actually, we can consider this. Just starting to support here. The first bounce, the second bounce, and this one I would consider coming down the third bounce. And as I mentioned, it's just like the springboard is one hop, jump, spring off. And we can see the moving averages have crossed as well. So I'm expecting this cross back up to start 2020 off right, 2022 off right. I'm probably saying 2020 though. I mean 2022. But yeah, that's what I see with Atlas right now. We need to get above 11 cent, which is the 20-day moving average. If you can pull a fib out really quick on Atlas, to look to from the swing high, swing low. And then you can see that coming in again, that 236 is playing in resistance. Need to break above that. And it's also the 20-day moving average is the resistance as well. It really doesn't fail to use these functions for your trader, and you can always get them right. Usually I like to click the settings and then actually put the price in from the high. So you see here the high from here, it is 21 cent, 21.86. I would just go in and just to get it exact as possible, 21.86 at the top, then do the same thing for the bottom. But so you don't have to spend so much time looking at charts, you could just base everything off using the moving averages really. Like I just went through, like, okay, it's not breaking above the 20-day moving average. Okay, I'm not looking to get in that asset right now. But if it does find support above the 20-day moving average, I always wait for at least 1 or 2 4-hour closes before I enter a position, and always make sure to set your stop limits or enter with a limit price saying that you want to buy at this certain price. Put that limit in. And then I always, for stop losses, I use market orders for that, just so I get it out the door and I don't want my limit to just get passed by and then you won't be able to take your loss, your small percentage loss instead of a big loss. So for instance, if you want to enter a position on Atlas, once it crossed above the 20-day moving average, I can show you this tool here that I use for a long position. Is over here in this 3-bar function. And then you can right click, go to settings, and then it'll show you the stop level that you want to enter. But you can use stop levels using KuCoin. If you want, I could do a tutorial showing you that. Just let me know. Yeah, I recorded another video showing the stop losses and the take profits using orders on KuCoin, and also how to use margin on KuCoin as well. That's a good way to scale your account, starting off with small amounts of funds. So from here, you would enter, say for instance that you wanted to set your stop right here at 8 cents, because if you set your stop limit too close to the price that you entered at, it will probably hit your stop pretty quickly. Because what I feel like too is that the algorithm, they pick up everybody's stop loss who's putting in orders, and from there it tries to knock out as many people with close stop limits on their trade, just so that it can do that. So I always put my stop ordering a little bit below the last lower low. So I would go back a while, about a couple of weeks or months, and then place it based on that. So from here, some people will make a tight stop. They'll just place it right here, maybe at about, what's that, a 9% loss? A 9% loss for a potential 36% gain, 36.94% gain for a 9.92% loss. Or if you were willing to take on a little bit more risk, you could do a 14% loss for a 36% gain. And then the gain back to the top would be a 93% gain for a 14% loss. But you can break it down by level. So I would take profit at each level, because price just doesn't go straight up. It pulls back, then it goes back up again. So you just keep re-entering trades from there. So, but for instance, to start off, you would just be, I would really want to enter closing above the 236, because that can come in at resistance as well. Enter the 236 and play. I can make a tight stop on that because we entering at a good price. So I would say enter at 10 cent, but actually I would enter above about, what's this? I would enter at about 12 cent. About 12 cent to make a 24% gain for a 13% loss. As I told you, you can move your stop up to the 20-day moving average, which is 11 cent, and or 12 cent, 9% loss, 24% gain. That's how I usually base my trades, using this tool. And also gold. I've been looking at algo heavy too. I really have no favorite project. But as we can see, algo is forming this upward movement of price, which I'm looking to see on other assets. Right now, it's only been about 2 or 3 assets that I see making this trend here. We can see that currently we're above the 55 on the RSI. We've established an upwards trend on the RSI. So what I would expect here on the RSI on the daily would be price to come back and test the RSI again. And the RSI here will correspond with a 20-day moving average on price. So we can see price come back to about, really, we could say, I didn't even see, we could say on the 100 and the 50 days, since they're crossing over each other, we can see a pullback in price to about $1.62. Right now we're at $1.69, and we can see this plunger candlestick coming in right now on a new day. So now we're currently 2 hours and 34 minutes into the new trading day, UTC time. Looking at the 4 hour, you can see that we are oversold currently, and you can also identify a downward trend beginning to form on the RSI to the higher low. You can see a trend beginning to form here, and also just from the daily, we do see this trend is here. So I would expect both of them to come meet. So I would expect the RSI to bounce between this price here, and then once it gets to the end here, it will break back out, because we do already see that you have the crossover that's been made on the 20-day coming over the 50, the 100, and the 200. As that was happening, price was growing in the RSI. RSI was consolidating, making lower lows in RSI, but we still were making higher highs on price. That was the indication of the bearish divergence. Sold off. Now we're going back up. Since we identified the bearish divergence, we can see that we can expect price to come back down, as I mentioned, and then test the 20-day moving average or the 50-day moving. Really, I would say the 200-day moving average on the 4 hour. But let's pull the fib out as well. And just using, since we had this big old wick here, I would just use the bodies for this asset. And we can see that algo has been consolidating for a while, for about 2 months now, and that's a good thing. Sideways price movement, which means when things do take off, they'll take off for sure. And as you can see, the fibs rarely fail. You can see that price, just basing it off of the highest high we had on September 12th, that price pulled back down from September 12th all the way down to the 236. Then I told you, as we get to the 236, the goal is to break out of that. I can pull it back up again, the golden ratio. So it couldn't break out of the golden ratio completely. It was consolidating for a while, coming back down from October 3rd to October 12th, testing the golden ratio 618 to 382, going back up, breaking above 618, coming back down. Then it found support at the 50-day, which means at first we found support at 382, then we moved up to support 50-day, then we moved up to support again 618, couldn't find support there, broke down again, back down below the 382, came back up again, tried to find support above the 50. It was weak. Then we were met with resistance at the 50, broke below again, resistance at 618, and then we broke all the way back down to the zero spot and reset the whole run up from this higher high here. So now that's why I mentioned that this will be a new wave beginning to form, starting off here. And you can see that the 20-day moving average itself did test off and push off as support the 200-day moving average, which is a good sign, and price is up here. So price is entering the golden ratio. I would want price to find support above the 382 before entering a position solidly, but you could have got in as soon as you see it cross over the 55 on the RSI, which is today actually, was yesterday on trading time, because I made a position myself when I saw that price reach the last low from here. I got in about here, I believe 19th, just from identifying the last low. But usually I'm not a breakout trader. I always wait and find support on assets. So many people, they would just see the asset breaking out and just try to hop on the moving train. You hop on the moving train, you're most likely to get dragged back down with the price. So that's what I would look for, support above the 382 before entering. But we can also see that it did cross over to 55, but it would be nothing for the cross back down like we did here. And as I showed you before, making a trend line on the RSI. So you can expect price to break back down and hold the trend on the RSI before moving up in price again. And that's how all of these indicators come to play together. We can see that on the MACD as well, that we do have strong positive momentum. So things, you can just look at some articles on algo as well. Things are looking good for them in the future. And that's, I guess we'll wrap it up here. Been going for a while. I hope you found this helpful. And also, I just want to leave off with showing this asset. I dropped it in the chat. Scalability for Web 3.0. Sato is a layer 1 blockchain that pays nodes in the P2P network instead of miners or stakers, delivering permissionless, scalable network capability, empowering decentralized versions of Twitter, Facebook, and Amazon without the need for predatory monopolies in the network. So this basically is people controlling the social network, and your data is not being collected by the monopolies like Twitter, Facebook, and Amazon. So I think this asset here would be a big move. You can see they got gambling on here too with Polkadot. Take a look at it. Not financial advice. Like I said, do your own research. You can look at the price right now too. It's cheap. So the price right now, 6 cents. Yeah, I did get the baked bears. Let me show you real quick. Just based off the link I sent in the chat. Let me see. Yeah, that was the first one I got. So all I did was go to the link from the chat. Then you had to be connected to the Polygon network. Actually, I can't even get on that browser. Let me switch over. So you just go, make sure that you're on the Polygon network, which I should be connected, yeah, to the Polygon network. And once you go from there, you should just be able to mint, like right now. Oh yeah, you can't do nothing on the iPad, man. Because the iPad, you can't even access Web 3.0 on Apple products right now. You need like an Android phone or just a laptop. Because MetaMask doesn't work on iPhones. And like even the old wallet I used to have, Atomic Wallet, I'm not sure if anyone's familiar, but they took that off iOS too. So yeah, it's really the transfer over to all Android products. But yeah, once you would have did that, you'd have just they took it off iOS like when the NFTs really start popping off. Like when that thing started getting real big, I guess they was getting too much network. Oh, Atomic Wallet, yeah, Atomic Wallet. Matter of fact, I think it was like a couple months ago, like 2 or 3 months ago, they took it off because I had an Atomic Wallet on the iPhone at first. Because I was staking my ADA, my Algo. I was staking Vet. What else I was staking on there? Tron. They had good staking too. And I guess that's why they got rid of it. Too much traffic. They're not getting no profit from it. But I believe it's still on Android right now. But I did remove all. Yeah, man, that's one thing too. Make sure y'all staking all y'all tokens and coins. But yeah, from here too. Yeah, SafePal cool. I don't got one. I need to get one. But SafePal is easier to connect the Web 3.0 than the Ledger Wallet is. Like the Ledger Wallet, it's like a USB. You got to use your 24 character passcode each time, and you need to connect it to your laptop itself to use it. But with the SafePal, I believe you could just use it right off the Wi-Fi like that. Or it's easier compatibility with the SafePal, I know for sure. But with the big bags, it's still not too late. Yeah, I heard it is. That's why I need to get one myself. But you can stake your big bags too, and you can earn GTT. And basically, it's gonna be an in-gaming token, because it's gonna be parcels of land with the Galactic Travelers. Play your NFTs, land ownership, casino, play to earn. That's why I really when it got those. It's like I really wasn't into the NFTs for real. But now I just my first one with like a use case. But also don't sleep on Rev. We can look at that too. Like Rev token. It's like 10 cent right now. It's a net 15 cent. Rev, it's a motorsport game, racing game. On the Tron. Is it on Tron Network? No, it's on ETH, but I believe it's on Tron Network too. But yeah, this gonna be a big thing. They got a partnership with Amico Games too, Amico brand. But just anything with Amico brand right now, like they moving the space. The Amico brand got Atlas, they got Rev. They doing a lot of how you spell Amico? I don't know if they made Pac-Man though. Matter of fact, I got the article up already. Let me see. Yeah, but definitely the NFT. Like, what if I can't get the NFT at Mint? I really don't even want it. But I know a lot of these new projects too. They dropping NFTs, but they really gifting. Once you get an NFT, they gifting you an even better NFT with it. Like, see, like they got the red racing you see on the homepage here. What else they do? The products, yeah. Yeah, their blockchain projects. It's not just be saying do your research. So like Amico brand, their first racing game, they got Sandbox on their list. So it's like they got Phantom Games. That's the Atlas. Phantom and Atlas, the same thing. They got Tower Experiment. Like anything right now, Amico brands putting their hands on. We already can see what happened with. Yeah, this not financial advice or anything, but we can see what happened with the Sand token. Amico brands put their hands on it, and Sand went from had the same use cases. Where it's at. on the gaming. Just on a weekly, we could use this same one from, what was that, 7 cent? And it's crazy. I didn't even buy a lot of it. I just bought a little bit. I knew about it back then in November 2020 when it was 7 cent. It went from, we could just say 9 cent all the way up to where it's at right now. That's 7,000% gain in less than a year. If you'd have put $500 in, 7,000%, you'd have made 35K. And that's why I'm like getting these small projects right now, like Rev at 12 cent. My strategy really is at 15 cent. Anything over $1, I'm not really trying to get in. And as we can see too, just looking at Rev, we have the trend, the higher lows on the trend, just starting to form. I feel like I went over it. Just starting to form a 50-day moving average. So we need to break above that, but we did just form a negative momentum on the MACD. But we can see it's at a great price. It just came out. This is on a weekly too. And that's my thing too. I really like to look at tokens starting off on the longest chain you could look at it from, like on a monthly, if it's been out that long, then the weekly, then the daily, then the 4-hour. But like when using TradingView, I select the exchange with the longest trading history. So I just go through each one and really look at who has the longest trading history. If not, I would just go to CoinMarketPro. I can show you this website, CoinTraderPro. So you got to type in charts.cointraderpro and then use the coin market cap and then search your asset on here. Because any asset that's not on TradingView will most likely be on here. And then make sure it just says the exchange is CoinMarketPro. And from here, it usually shows the longest trading history for most assets. I just like using TradingView because I can save my watch list and I can also turn the background dark, and I can show y'all that too. Yeah, I haven't tried it to be honest, but I think if you make an account, you should be able to change it to dark mode. I just never tried. Let me see. Yeah, just change the background. I guess change the background to black. That's all you can really do. I feel like when I change the background black, and change the gray lines black, and then yeah, that's what I feel like. That's all you can really do right here. But I don't know. I gotta go deep into it and look. You probably change this on the side too. But yeah, on Rev, just the last thoughts on Rev right here, and I'll leave it off from here. Oh yeah, TLM too. Like I was looking at TLM. That's 20 cent. So from right now, from 15 cent back up to where Rev was at, the highest high back in, what was this, November 25th? That's 152% gain. And imagine using that 10x leverage. You turn your $100 into $900, and you make that trade using margin with your $900 making 152%. And that's how you scale your account. And we could just see that $900 times 152%, you made a profit of $1,368. And of course, you had to pay back the loan as well, but you just made profit damn near $3,000. You might have to pay back about $50 worth of interest, maybe less than that. It depends how long the trade takes to play out. But that's why when I use trades, really, when I get in, I try to get in for the long run when I'm using margin. Like these short little run trades that you can get like from scalping. Just say for instance that okay, we see that it bounced off our support trend line here. We could use that, or we could use either support from here. So I know it would bounce off that. And we could see that, not for instance, not for this exact trade, not for here. I'm just using this as for an instance, as we do see that we do have negative, weakening positive momentum. So we could probably expect prices to go lower from here. But just saying that if this was the low that we thought it was going to, and that price was going to reverse up. But you also have to learn how to short trades too, because you have to make money in the bull market and the bear market. And I can show that too, how to make a short on the exchange. But from here, the price movement up would have been about 13%. And that's why I just say comprehension before compensation. Once you learn how to do all these trades and execute properly, you can make profit every day if the market's going up or down. And that 13%, if you use leverage or even a 3x token, because KuCoin does have 3x tokens, so whatever the percentage gain was, 13%, that 3x that, and you'd have had that percentage gain, and also you could 3x short. So whatever percentage is dropped. So say if it would have dropped from, if you would have shorted the price, identifying that this was the high here on the RSI, and that, okay, we're about to start a downtrend, you could have shorted this whole downtrend here and made a 50% profit from shorting, 60% basically. And if you'd have used margin or the 3x token, 612, 180, if you did 3x token, you would have had 180% gains in a down market, or just a regular 6% down market short percentage gain. And if you'd use margin for that too, you can always make profit. But yeah, I'll end it here. Hope y'all find this helpful. Let me know if you got any questions. And blessings to you all.